Welcome to Collaboration Conversations. I'm thrilled to have you with us today as we have another amazing guest co-host today and panelist that our guest co-host has invited to share with us this conversation about collaboration and how it can change our world and the world around us. So I want to introduce you to my guest co-host today. I met our guest co-host as Howard Gershman. Howard is the regional leader of Primerica, has been with them for 20 years, an amazing track record there. And as you will come to know, when you get to know Howard, he ceases to be Howard and becomes Howie. So welcome, Howie, to the show. Thanks for agreeing to be our guest co-host today.
Thanks, Regina. This is going to be awesome. I'm really looking forward to it.
Awesome. Will you share a bit about your journey, who you serve, and why?
Yeah, I'm Howard Gershman. I live in the Hudson Valley area in New York, about 2 hours north of New York City, just like the other women here. It's great to have my good friends here all the time. I started this financial planning journey quite a few years ago after I had gotten screwed by 3 financial planners myself. And that's kind of a long story, but we've kind of changed everything around and moved forward. And now we're currently in a much better place. And now we're helping people all over the country kind of get their financial act together. That's the idea. We help regular, middle class, everyday people just understand what they should have been taught in high school and how we can put things in place and they can learn how to take care of their own finances and what we all want, live happily ever after. I want to introduce a friend of mine, Jacqueline. Jacqueline, tell us about yourself.
Hi, I'm Jacqueline Pacheco-Mentesino. I own JPM Bookkeeping Services. We are a special kind of bookkeeping service because we actually specialize in the animal care industry. So veterinarians, pet grooming salons, boarding, daycares, kennels, things to that nature. This is exciting for me because I'm actually under a year in business. So I met these lovely people in my networking journey. So this is great. And this has been a joy and how networking and collaborations have helped so much for me.
Fantastic.
Thanks, Jacqueline. This is going to be awesome with you. Lisa, tell us about yourself.
Of course. Good morning. Thank you, Regina, for having us, and Howard for the invite. So I'm my business name is Sakina's Touch, and I'm a spiritual advisor and Reiki practitioner. And one of my endeavors is to bring harmony into people's lives, to heal through source energy, to create mental and emotional stability in people's lives so that they can operate much more efficiently and effectively.
Great. Thanks for being here, Lisa. And Meredith, tell us about yourself.
Hi. My name is Meredith. I work for a company called Thryv. When I started in 1996, it was the 9X Yellow Pages. And it's kind of evolved with the fact that we've all evolved. And, consumers are really using this online thing, and it's just overwhelming for businesses. I'm in the Hudson Valley as well as these lovely ladies in Howie. I'm halfway between New York City and Albany in the Hudson Valley. But yeah, so it's overwhelming for business owners. It is nothing like it was in the 90s for them. There is too much for a business owner to do. And we really want to help them spend more time growing their business and less time managing it and worrying about all these other things that they don't want to be doing. So, between the software and my team, we take that off of their shoulders and really help them so that they can compete with the larger companies.
Ooh, well,
fantastic.
Well, it's great for everybody to be here. Regina?
Thank you, Howie. So, Howie, you mentioned in your introduction, or before you started introducing these lovely ladies, that you all participate in some networking, and that's how you all came together, through a networking group. Is that right?
Yes.
Has that led to? Okay. Has that led to collaborations within the group within, and what does that look like? How have you collaborated together so far?
It all comes down to relationships, not with just each other, but with everyone else in the group. And the more
Right.
you have to know, like, and trust the other people that we associate with, the more we kind of, even not just in the back of our mind, in the front of our mind, thinking about how we can collaborate with each other or with people who we don't even know yet, or we're just meeting. And so we all try to do that. And I think we all do it pretty well with each other. When we're out and about, we say, oh, you got to talk to Lisa right now. We've done it. And it's also blossomed into all kinds of things.
That's awesome. Meredith, you look like you had a comment for that as well.
I always look like I have a comment.
Well, I'll be calling on you a lot today then.
I don't have like the RBF face, or I have like the always looking like a comment face. So I actually don't. But I do have to say, since I've been called on, like, I agree. I mean, the group is great. We're all part of the same group, and we become like Howie said, we're always looking out for each other, like how we can help each other, and we genuinely like each other. It's just a great group with such synergy. We help each other as businesses, we help each other as people. I think we've all benefited from just knowing each other. I speak for myself.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yes,
So who,
Hey,
Jacqueline?
well, it's been, I mean, since I've met everybody not that long ago, like I walked into that, well, virtually walked into that meeting. Pretty much like these are actually people that I'd like to meet in person, and like I can have a drink with these people. Like it's just the comfort level was just, it didn't feel like it was just a meeting where we talk about business. It's just seems like someplace where like we genuinely got to know each other.
Fantastic.
And I have to agree with what everyone said. Absolutely. It's the dynamic that we have in our chapter. That's what makes us so unique. And whenever we have visitors, they're like, oh, wow, you guys are amazing. I wish our chapter was like this, because we are so into each other. We are present, right? We are there, not only on a professional level, but on a business level as well. And I think that that's extremely important to have those interpersonal skills so that you can then be present with whoever you are. Develop relationships.
Fantastic. Awesome. And folks, I'm sorry, we're getting a little feedback somewhere, so we may need to mute ourselves when we're not speaking, and we'll see if we can identify where that's coming from and maybe be able to eliminate that. So it happens. You know, that's what you get when you have live, folks. We take it as it comes. We're live, real, and raw here. So tell me if you can you I can't even find the word I want, but can you express what it's meant to your business? What tangible impact has collaborating and networking together had on your business? And unmute yourself to share. Meredith?
I can just say, I know my face started talking before I did. That, I mean, I'm like top of my region. I mean, yes, it's led to a lot of closed business and great relationships. It's led to, you know, just being able to connect with people that they know people that can use my services, or being invited to different events where I could present and meet people that I can help. It's led to being able to connect people with other people that help each other. I mean, it's made a huge financial impact for me in a positive way. I've met, you know, people that have become my friends now. So it's just been extremely positively impactful, you know, to the point where I know that other things work, but I direct all my energy to this BNI networking group, because that's where, you know, I'm benefiting the most. So I really just completely use this. It's just fantastic in every way that I can see, like between just the networking and the collaboration. And then of course, you know, helping my business grow too, and helping others' businesses grow.
Right.
think, Meredith, you have an interesting story about how you got to us in the first place. You kind of resisted during even coming to meet us.
12 years. Jason Cadavero at J&J Auto, you know, great guy, great friend. BNI, you'd kill it. All these businesses need you. And BNI, 7 o'clock in the morning, they're going to have to live without me. And sorry. And that's all there was. BNI is 7 o'clock in the morning in person. And, you know, as wonderful as this has been, I was very resistant to it and like wouldn't even hear it. And then Rich Slapino, we're outside at a chamber event back when I used to go to the chamber events before BNI. And he said BNI, and I rolled my eyes loudly. And I was like, yeah, that's not ever happening. And he's like, we meet at 11:30 on Zoom. And I turned around so fast and I was like, well, sign me up now, because that was not even an option that I was aware of. So that's changed it all.
That's an interesting perspective of how
it's just the
a
truth.
minor change can make a difference in someone's perspective and their willingness to do something. That's very interesting. Yeah.
And also, same kind of thing for me, although not that I resisted like Meredith did, but as crazy as it sounds, I mean, pandemic was the best thing that happened to me in my business. And same for Meredith and kind of the rest of you. So, because we have the ability to actually have these kinds of conversations, build relationships, really get to know people that we would never be able to do otherwise if we were forced.
Exactly.
Not that it's a bad thing, to force people to actually meet and have a conversation in person.
You know, that's so true. I know for me, as bad as the pandemic was, there's so many good things that came out of that 2-year period as well. And the opportunity to do business around the world, to meet people around the world that you never would have had the opportunity to meet before, to speak in countries that you've never been to be able to give presentations to groups in those countries. And you know, it's in October, spoke at a meeting in Nigeria and one in Paris. You know, didn't have to travel. You know, those opportunities weren't around before. We took to the internet so much for our networking and our collaboration.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I totally agree with you, Howard, on that.
I was going to say, Lisa, is there some examples where you have either collaborated through our group or long distance or all kinds of things that you have some examples that you can share with us?
Well, I like to support events. As you know, Howard, I do send out like blast emails whenever you have an event going on, a networking event. I'll send it out to a whole group of people in my email, in my contacts. Or, you know, I'll speak to a friend, or I'll gather a group of ladies or entrepreneurs, and I say, you know what, let's go together and let's, you know, form relationships, let's build. So I've done that. Also, what I've done is rather unique, where now I have an extended family called BNI, and you're all my family. And what I've done in the past is offer Reiki sessions, small Reiki sessions, to improve your life, to give you tools so that you can be a better person, because that trickles into every extension of your life, right? So I've done that, and I think that that's a pretty profound form of collaborating, but more with the psyche, not really the business.
It's all important, isn't it?
Yeah,
absolutely.
And not every conversation and relationship leads to dollars in your pocket, but it certainly helps in lots of other ways.
That's not what it's about. You know, I'm about giving, because in giving there's fulfillment. And that's not something tangible. It's not something that you could touch. It's something that you feel. And when you feel fulfilled, you're giving so much more to the person that you're with. You're giving at a better capacity.
Yeah, exactly. It's kind of what I was getting at, is you don't always get, you know, people think of business networking and business conversations always lead to dollars in some way or another, but not necessarily. And that's a good thing.
Very true. Jacqueline?
Yeah, pretty much it brings more value, right? So it kind of, you don't want that whole entire, I need to make money. I mean, everybody wants to make money. Let's not minimize that. Everybody wants to make money. But at the end of the day, like, you can either make the quick buck and have that revolving door, or you bring value into the people that you meet. And then these people stay with you for a long time. And that has more value than millions of people going through the turnstile.
Absolutely.
If that makes sense.
Total sense. And what you've all addressed is one of the things that's really important to me is what I call the ripple effect.
Mm-hmm.
How does what we're doing today impact others? And, and then how do they go out and impact others? And we just create that ripple that is never ending.
Mm-hmm.
Lisa, I really kind of heard that in yours and Jacqueline's as well. But that as we're, and it's, yes, the monetary gain is, we need that to keep our businesses running, right? But those relationships and those impacts that we make are so much more important. Money is the means to an end. For me, the money, for some people, the money is everything. But for me, the money is a means to an end. It allows me to do what I love to do in order to make a difference in the world, right? It pays the bill.
I was going to ask Meredith, what kinds of things do you talk to people all over the country. I don't know if you go to other countries or not, but what kind of conversations do you have, or what kind of things have led from one collaboration to the next, to the next, to the next?
I mean, that is such a great question. It's just incredible how I don't even know where to attribute these meetings to. Like, it's like, I met with, I have somebody who I know from Hawaii who connected me to somebody else, also in Hawaii, who connected me to this woman who does podcasts in Connecticut. And then I ended up on her meeting, and I met like a ton of people from that meeting. So it's like, where does it even begin? But it's like, just I love what everybody's talked about, that it's about meeting great people that, do these really interesting things. And even if they do the same thing, they do it differently, and they've got different personality. And like God, it's like, it's like we all have these like big listening ears now. So if we know that somebody's in need of a service, like, we can be like, well, I got this person for you. I have the right person that's going to help you. And it's like it's amazing how it's like to go like from this person in Hawaii that connected me to another person that connected me to this lady in Connecticut who connected me to a whole group of people who I just, met from Illinois. And it's just, we're all helping each other. It's that part, that web of interconnections is so amazing.
I find it joyous to be able to connect people, that when you are listening to somebody, and it requires that listening, right? We all have to have those listening ears ready to hear what they need, and who do I know that I can introduce them to. And I love writing those letters of introduction, and comment that usually is in those is, I can't wait to hear what exciting collaboration you come up with, because I want to know. And how you mentioned the word relationships, those introductions don't come without having a relationship built, right? So how important are relationships to you, Howie?
I mean, it's almost just about everything. It takes time to, here's some experiences that some people may have had is, it takes time to build a relationship, a business or a personal one. But I always ask, it's always fun to ask, some of you are more, I was going to say more married than others, but some have, marriage experiences in the past. But I always like to ask, how long did it take for the time you met your spouse, said hello, to the time you said I do? So it takes, it didn't happen overnight. It sometimes takes years. But whatever happened, there was a relationship being built. And a business relationship is really no different. And it takes time and effort, and there's a lot of fun involved along the way. But at the same token, it can be torn apart very fast by one stupid comment or one thing we do, some slip of the tongue, whatever, and it can all fall apart. So we really have to be careful about those things too.
Could we all elaborate on the word effort that you used, Howie? What does that effort look like in building those relationships?
I think the effort comes from
go ahead.
I think the effort comes from continuing conversations and continuing kind of making a shared experience together with another business person or even a personal person. Whatever kind of things we do together, relationships come from shared experiences. You have think of the time you met your spouse, the time you said I do. What things happened in between? Right? You did things together. I think it's unusual. It would be unusual. Wouldn't it be weird if you met somebody on Zoom and then you done Zoom calls one after another, and then you had a wedding on Zoom and really never met in person. It almost could happen because you were constantly doing shared experiences. Right?
Yeah. Very true.
Yeah. And that's why we encourage, we encourage people to either have these, maybe not marry each other, but we encourage people to have these kinds of one-to-one kinds of conversations, just to get to know people from where they come from. Where'd you grow up? What kind of experience did you have? How'd you get into the business you're in now? And what are those steps that happened in the past to get you to where you are today? Everybody's got a different story, and every story is really fascinating when you really understand what's going on, but behind the scenes. And Meredith, that was a good example when you met people there's lots of people who do what you do. Right? Lots of Thryv people all over the place. Lots of financial planners all over the place, and bookkeepers and everybody else. So what makes you, what makes you better, not better, but what makes you appealing or whatever to somebody else? It's you, it's your background and the energy that you give off to other people when you meet them, and continue those conversations moving forward.
I just want to piggyback and say that having effort, at least to me, is having the desire to be present in people's lives and to contribute and to be able to contribute in their success and to be there for their failures as well, because they go hand in hand. It's about embracing acceptance. Are you fully accepting the person that's in front of you? Can you be present? Can you be in the moment with this person? And I think that that's what makes relationships bond, presence. Because how many times do we have conversations and people are out in in la la land, and you can see there's like 1,000,001 thoughts running through their head. So they're not in the moment and they cannot establish a relationship. So if you can't have that with yourself, you're not going to have that with other people. How do you want to build a professional relationship? It really doesn't happen. It could fall in the cracks very easily. So you have to have the effort, the desire to be in people's lives and make a difference.
So well said.
And you are what you put into it. So if you don't, I think we've all had instances where we've had people reach out to us to network, and then they're sitting there talking about what they can do for us, what they're trying to sell to us. Whereas sometimes I want to look at the person on the other side of the Zoom screen, and I actually want to see what makes you real. Like, how are you as a human being? Because I treat everything now like BNI, these people right here have destroyed me for everybody else. So I'm literally
in a good way, right?
Yeah, wait. Can you elaborate, please?
Great way.
We've destroyed Jacqueline.
Well, it destroyed in the way is that now, I look at it this way, right? The relationships that I've built with this group right here is literally how I treat the clients that I want to bring on. Like, if I can't sit here and relate to you as a human being, and also be able to like have compassion for you. And that's a lot of the times what is missing. Like, I don't want to cold call people. I don't want to have, I'd love to have 20 million clients, but I want to have I'd rather have, there's that saying, right? You have that small group of people that bring tons of value, or you can be the mayor of your town and shake hands, kissing babies, but then who really cares? So like, that's what I mean when they destroyed me. So
it's about quality, not quantity.
all the time.
Exactly.
Like, I say it all the time. I said, I love to do quality work. I love quality in my existence and the people who I handle. If you don't bring quality, and I can have 20 million friends, but if only 3 of them talk to me, like, those 3 are the ones I'm holding on to.
So
You brought up go ahead, Lisa. Go ahead, please.
Over the weekend, I had this vision where this acronym just really popped in my head. And I'm like, oh my God, I have to like really put my time into this. And it's EPIC. And what does EPIC stand for? And I think that people have to be like this, right? You have to be empowering. You have to bring perspective to people's lives. You have to, what's the word? Inspire people. And you have to have the capacity to challenge the person that's in front of you, because this is all how we get out of our comfort zone. This is how we grow on so many different levels. And you should really consider who your relationships are with, because if people are not EPIC, you may want to reevaluate that.
That's great. Love that. Meredith?
No, I wrote that down. That's good. I don't have an acronym. I don't have an acronym, but I wrote that down.
Yeah.
No, it's true. I mean, I think they say you're the sum of the 5 people you spend the most time with. So think about who, in Lisa's words, what energy you're taking in and what energy that's going to give off. And time is the one thing we don't, we can talk about finances and everything else, but time, we don't have time. Like, time is going away fast, and we have such a finite amount of it. So we need to be with people who are EPIC, empowering, perspective, inspire, capacity. I wrote it down. So I think that also, like, I respect the people in this group so much. I mean, not just what they do, but like what Jacqueline was saying, who they are as people. Like, who are we as people? Yeah, we could do a great service and great job, but who are we as people? Like, I respect the people in this group and in my BNI so much, like, and what they all give a different perspective, right? And come from different places that have value that is going to help us all as people. And then that can spill over into, into our jobs too. But ultimately, we want to surround ourselves with people that are going to make us better, inspire and all those things. So, Jacqueline has points that a perspective I've never had before. Howie will say things that I haven't seen before. Lisa comes from this place that I'm in desperate need of tapping into more. So I think we all gain so much as humans from each other.
I think what you've all just expressed is so powerful. Howie, go ahead and add to that.
Yeah, so the other thing that adds into that, Meredith, is also how you do anything is how you do everything, right? Yeah. So, right, and if you act one way as a personal person, you're likely to be that way in the business world and around. Yeah. So it goes back and forth too.
Yeah,
it's hard to hide. It's hard to be one type of person one way, one relationship, and another person another way. It's pretty hard.
It will show up.
And it eventually shows up. Yep.
And we all are to some degree, right? Like, we're all different to our kids than we are to our customers. We're different to our spouses than we are to our friends. And you see Lisa's face is her wheels are turning, so she's going to make a comment, I think. But we're all different to some degree, right? You're different to your son than you might be to even your daughter. You're different to your spouse than you might be to your customers. But I think to what Howie's saying is the core of who we are. We need to always our core values and ethics need to always come through on every relationship. You can't be one way and have, as a person and then another way somewhere else.
Yeah.
But
yeah. I understand what you're saying, Meredith, and I'm pretty blunt, and the way I am is the way I am with everybody. I can have a little bit more tenderness. It just depends on the context, but I am the way I am, and I really can't hide my emotions. I really can't hide the way I'm feeling. I'm going to express it, whether it's verbally, energetically, physically. I mean, however, it's just this is who I am, and I'm like this with everybody, correct? And I think that when we tend to take on a different level of interaction through, we can create ambiguity if we present ourselves in different manners, if we're not aligned with ourselves. And I don't dwell. I cannot sit in ambiguity. And we don't want people to be there either.
I don't either.
Yeah.
I think what it is that you're not totally a different way with everybody. It's just the volume is either higher or lower. So it's I'm the same way. Let's say this, because I'm also one that is very blunt, but who you can do that to, right? Who you kind of know who your audience is, and you adjust the volume to accommodate, especially those if I'm also blunt sometimes.
Me too. Everybody that knows me knows that's me as well.
Well, and that's why we all mesh so well.
I think maybe
because they're just like, I'm gonna tell you how it is,
and nobody gets offended.
I may change the volume or the words or how, but it's going to come out, and it's going to come out in
and it's just more of knowing who your audience is and what they can take, or how much of you they can take.
Correct. You have to know their capacity. Absolutely.
There you go. The C.
Yeah. I'd like to bring this back to something Jacqueline said a moment ago, though, about recognizing who you do and do not want to work with. And for me, that comes back to a lot of times values, right? Do we share the same values? Do we, how do we communicate? We talk about volume here, but, someone who's volatile as opposed to raising and lowering the volume is someone that's difficult for me to work with. I prefer that more even tempered. I'll put it that way. But values are so important in determining who we're going to work with and who we're not. Correct? Anybody disagree with that or have some thoughts on that, on how critical it is to understand the values we live by?
In addition to values, when I don't want to say meet someone for the first time, but after you get to know someone even a little bit, you can sort of sense people's energy and kind of where they're coming from, or is this somebody I want to hang out with? Even forget about the business part. That goes a long way to whether I want to keep going with somebody, and whether if I'm expressing myself in whatever way, not so much being blunt, but I sense that they're not really getting either what I'm talking about or don't care. I'm just going to move on. I think I'm not sure who said it before, but start looking around the room looking at my other monitor, you can sense.
Not engaged.
This is not engaged. That's a good word. Yeah. I'm not quite engaged. I'm going to think twice about this.
Yeah.
Well, I pretty much look for receptivity for clients and for partners. You have to have a certain amount of receptiveness to what I am offering you, to have a discussion. So yeah, that's pretty much what I look for. How receptive someone is, how engaged someone is, how much effort are they willing to put in, how vulnerable are they with me, right? But I have the upper hand where I can kind of pick that up even before you say a word.
Fantastic. Yeah. I love collaborations. They are, as you can tell by the name of this show, collaboration conversations. And again, so much of it for me comes back to how can we change the world together? And I sense that that's a driver for many of you as well. What can we, how can we make a difference by working together, or by my recommending you reach out to this person or introducing two people, that we have that opportunity to be a part of the ripple effect that's created when two or more people come together to collaborate and change the world.
Mhm.
And I think what it is too, that you value it more when it's genuine.
Yes.
So
Yeah.
so dealing with, right, what we consider givers gain, right? You can give, right, but people give to get.
Yeah.
And what a lot of people don't understand is sometimes you're gonna have to give a whole lot without expecting things in return.
Exactly.
Because at the end of the day, or however long it takes you, your giving will eventually come. You'll see
Comes
the
back.
fruits of those labor.
Exactly.
You said a keyword right there, Jacqueline, expectations. People are always expecting from you, correct? They want to give, but then in return, what are you going to give me? That's not really how it works, at least not in my opinion.
Mhm.
And when we hold expectations, it's the perfect formula for disaster, because not everyone is going to meet our expectations. Sometimes we can't even meet our own expectations, much less hold someone else accountable for that. So,
True.
when you give, you have to give from a very special place, which is your heart, because you want people to succeed. So, my success is your success as well.
Yeah.
And you have to look at it as
100%
that
agree.
you are gaining, in that you are, that joy of giving, and that you are facilitating a relationship that wouldn't have happened without you. And that
Yeah.
fulfillment and joy should be enough, and that needs to be enough. And then anything else is just extra.
Yes.
Mhm.
Such a
We have
wise group you've brought together here today, Howie. Thank you.
Yeah. Speaking of giving, my grandson is 5. So every time we go there, he goes to Grandma. I said, Grandma, did you get me a present? Get you a present? And she created this monster who is, always one. So when we were there over the weekend, we drive up on the driveway. My son and my grandson, come running out to the car, and my grandson was instructed, do not ask Grandma if there's a present. And but he looks in the back of the car and sees something wrapped up, and he's one of these desperately wants to ask, but he'll be much better. And I think some part of the conversations we had afterward is to say, it's all better to give than receive. You don't really, and I think in our world, especially in a 5-year-old world, they don't quite get it. But the moment you say that is for us, it's in our DNA now that it is better to give than receive, because that's kind of the way we're built, and we get a lot of value from others and each other when we do that giving without necessarily expecting return, or we connect two people together. You guys should talk. I think there's something there. But when that switch flips, and then you understand what that's all about, there you go. That opens a whole new world of all kinds of stuff from there.
Absolutely. You made me think of something, Howie. we tend to talk about how it feels to be that giver of those connections. But somebody share with me, please, how it has felt when someone has reached out to you and said, you two need to connect.
Oh, all the time.
Well, it's like amazing. I can't begin to say. It's like the most wonderful feeling ever, because I'm always giving without expectations, and
Right.
and just to be connected to someone, to establish a bond is just so meaningful for me. Meredith from way on, when she was training me, she encouraged me to set up a Google profile. I'm like, oh my God, I don't like technology, I don't like AI, whatever. But I did. Down the road, I did, and I attribute that to her. And Howard is just so encouraging, correct? And Jacqueline is just like phenomenal. I love her energy. But it's so great to receive joy. It's so great to receive connections.
Yes.
I don't know. There's just so much to be said. Yesterday, and I'm sorry, I'm boasting here, I received my first Google review. I never thought I would ever get a Google review. But oh my God, I was beaming. I was so expansive. My heart was like, oh my God. And the extent of this testimony, it humbled me. I'm like, oh my God, I made this impact in this person's life, such a profound impact. I'm like, oh my God,
Right.
Lisa, I didn't know you worked that way. But it's just wonderful to be able to receive. And yeah, you have to learn how to balance, because some people give and have a hard time receiving. And I was one of those.
Many of us fit that model. But it's an amazing feeling, isn't it, when somebody else says, hey, you two need to meet. I think that you can do great things together. Jacqueline?
Meredith does it to me all the time. It's scary. Okay. It's scary. Like she's connected me to people. She was like, you're going to love this person. And I was just like, it is so creepy. Like I get goosebumps. Like she was like, you need to talk to this person. Like get together. And it's just like, oh my God, like it was just so weird. Like we'll have like the same interests. And I was just like, Lord, oh my gosh. Like she's scary when she does it. So, she's scary. And then Lisa too. Like Lisa's introduced me to people that I'm just like, wow, like I really have lucked out and met people through my connections here that literally, like, these are people they're introduced me to that I would literally go and sit and have a drink or dinner with. Right. It's insane.
Yeah.
Because I think that we're getting to know each other. So like I wouldn't connect Jacqueline with like a fuddy-duddy, because that would not be good for either of them. That person would probably pass out and she wouldn't be happy. And then Lisa, I know Lisa and I know the kind of person, the energy she wants, and I'll connect. And Howie as well. I've gotten to know the people. That's that know, like, and trust thing that we talk about, which is like a nice catchphrase, but you really need to. And then we're connecting people to like-minded people, that the energy that we're going to have, good energy from, that we're going to be able to have that connection with. That only happens when you take the time to get to know people.
Yeah, definitely. Mm-hmm. Oh, folks, guess what? We're out of time.
Oh wow.
Great. I know. It goes fast, doesn't it? Great conversation. I really appreciate everybody's input. You definitely have added to the level of the conversation today. Thank you so much. Howie, would you please run our last bit here, which is our wrap-up round, and have everybody share their final thoughts on collaboration and their contact information.
Yeah,
and I will put our contacts in the comment.
So Jacqueline, I always like to, in some of the other sessions and trainings that I do, I always like to kind of go around the room and always ask, like, Jacqueline, what's one good thing you got out of today?
Oh, one is that literally, like, collaboration is really key to go and to not only help us on a business standpoint, but it helps us in other aspects of our lives as well. So how you go and work well with the people around you is how it can work in your life. So I treat everybody the same way. I want to be able to work with you, right? We are all dealing with multiple personality disorder, right? So everyone's different. So we have to be able to work with everybody. So that's what I picked up. And you guys are amazing.
Very good. And Meredith, what's one good thing you got out of today?
I mean, it's stuff we already know, just to reiterate what I think we already know, and just that reminder of relationships and the importance of giving to give, and that epic means empowering, perspective, inspired, capacity.
I love it.
And Lisa, what are your epic thoughts for today?
Oh my! I have to copyright that.
That's it.
Other than having fun, this was amazing. Thank you so much, Regina. So this revealed how intricate this web is and how we are all interconnected beyond ways that you are experiencing. And my my advice would be to cultivate presence within yourself, so that when you are collaborating and when you are establishing a relationship, you have a profound ripple effect. It's about having Howard's empathetic ears, right? Is empathetic listening and Regina's listening skills. But it's pretty much, it boils down to developing presence, to cultivating that within yourself so that you can go and extend that out into the world.
Mm-hmm. Right. And I always hear, but entrepreneurs are sometimes pretty solitary, and they have that mindset of self-made success kind of thing. You did it by yourself, and that's somehow virtuous. But I think the reality is that's crap. Nobody can be a success by themselves, and on any level, you barely get off first base trying to do stuff by yourself. That's sort of our thoughts for today. Regina, how did you like everything today?
Oh, it was fabulous. What a great group. Really appreciate it. Oops. Well, something went awry there, but I think it'll be okay. I was putting in all your contact information. Yeah, this has been fantastic. You have all brought a great perspective. You've each brought a great perspective to this discussion of collaboration, how important it is in our personal lives and in our businesses, and that we all go farther with it, right? We go together when we have collaboration, instead of, as Howie said, as entrepreneurs, we tend to do a lot of things on our own and be isolated, especially in this day and age. We don't go to an office, we work out of our homes. The community that we've had in the past doesn't exist at the same level as it did previously. And I miss that. I really miss that. And having an office to go to and people there in that office, and I work out of my home office now. Right. And so I think there are a lot of us who miss that. I know there are those who don't, and they like working out of the home, but we can become so isolated when we're doing that. And collaboration is one way out of that, a great way out of that. So thank you all for being here today. Howie, thank you for bringing these amazing women to be on the show today and interact with us and share their wisdom about collaboration. I appreciate it so much.
These are some of my favorite people here too, and I don't go many places without them. Certainly, if not in person, at least in here, for sure.
At least in there. Fantastic. Yes, you've created a great group. Say that again, Jacqueline.
Put me in their pocket. Take me with you.
I love it. I just carry you around in my pocket.
That's it.
Fantastic. Well, thank you again. And thanks to all of our viewers for watching today. We appreciate you coming and sharing in this discussion with us. And we'll see you next time on Collaboration Conversations. Bye for now.